Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today I have a wonderful and amazing 5v5 on the wonderful and amazing Necrox's map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our players, starting with Team 1 up here to the north and ending with Team 2 down here in the south. Let's start with the most western player here for Team 1. It is the player of BRSD CCC 97. He's going first land in Pac-Man Yellow as a UEF. Very sensible choice there. In one of the rear guard air slots here for Team 1, we have Snog. He's going first land as a Seraphim in Stitch Blue. Into the southeast, we have Meat Missile. That's a very interesting name. He's going first land as a Aeon in Snow White. And in the other rear guard air slot here for Team 1, we have Buttons. Very, very cute name. Buttons going first land in orange, the color orange, as a UEF as well. And last but not least here for Team 1, we have Tesla Max going first land as a Cybran in Royal Purple. So on Team 1 side of things for racial makeup, we have 1 Cybran, 1 Seraphim, 1 UEF, and 2 Aeon. All of the races are represented here for Team 2. Let's go ahead and introduce Team 2, starting with the other purple player of the game, which is the player of Evil Drew. Going first land in Amethyst Purple as a UEF. So it's going to be the very traditional Cybran versus UEF rivalry here on the eastern side of the map. In one of the rear guard air slots here for Team 2, we have Tag Defcon. He's going first air in Ruby Red as a Seraphim. In the middle slot here for Team 2, we have TV No Baby Starlink. Don't know. That's a really interesting name. Don't know how to comment about that, but apparently no TV for babies, I guess. Going first land in Tropical Ocean Blue as an Aeon. And here down in the south, we have TV No Baby number 2. He's going first land and second air as an UEF in Light Oak Tan. I guess he's the sequel to his teammate of TV No Baby Starlink. So we'll see how these two communicate and play throughout the game. Last but not least, for Team 2, we have Agony going first land as a Cybran in Royal Blue. So on Team 2's side of things, we have 2 UEF, 1 Aeon, 1 Cybran, and 1 Seraphim. All of the races are represented for both teams. The only difference being that Team 1 has 2 Aeon and Team 2 has 2 UEF. So we'll see if the UEF will reign supreme for Team number 2 or if the Aeon will, since they have a slighter majority of the racial makeup and faction representation here for Team 1. Let's go ahead and look at Reclaim here while we still have some to look at. On this map, we have 15,770 was the highest number that I saw. So probably about 16,000. Decent group of maps for our players to scoop up. They are kind of spread out, actually. There's not a whole lot in the middle of the map. There's a 600 here, another 600 here to mirror the other side, but not really a whole lot in the middle to fight over. A lot of it is on both teams' side of things, so we'll see if that will scale their equals up fairly quickly, which it probably will. And in terms of mass layouts, in terms of mass points, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 3. So at least 4 of our 5 players were able to get a group of 3 mexes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the land player probably grab these 2 and see how that plays out, at least on this eastern side. So this will give Evil Drew an advantage here, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see BRS grab these 2 right here to give him the same advantage. To the west, a couple of Mech Marines are on a attack raid here to the west. They're going after this little lonely mass extractor. They will get an engineer as well. Maybe, oh no, I spoke too soon. They may have gotten they could have gotten an engineer, but decided not to, I guess. A large production facility here for Agony to the west, ensuring that he has a lot of forces to spam up when the time is right and needed, but it is right now. We have a couple of hunters going after these Mech Marines. The Mech Marines are still alive, and they only lost one of their friends, while all of the units here from Team 2's Play of Agony get wiped out. Of course, it is a 1,200 versus a 2,000 ready player here on the west, and a similar situation where it's a 1,200 here and a 2,000 ready player here on the east. So again, not only do these two players here on Team 1 and Team 2 have the eco advantage for the most part, but they also have the rating and experience advantage as well. Those Mech Marines are still alive, just biding their time, but it does look like there are a couple of hunters on their way to deal with that. Units here to the middle of the map here for Team 2, starting to go after Mechs, but it does look like Tap Defcon will claim all three of them for himself. I don't know if that was a planned thing or just so how happened, but we will see how that affects. So Team 2's player here for Evil Jew actually kind of not really doing too hot. Tesla Max is being super aggressive with his units, have gotten into pretty much the front line, pretty much really close to the main base, and they're going after Mexes as we speak. Grab that radar, that'd be a good thing to grab. Oh. There you go. I was like, please finish it off. And it does look like Team 2's eastern side is not really faring well for them. I feel like it's a similar thing on the western side, except Agony is not pushing his advantage, which, you know, Pac-Man has no units except a couple of strikers, and that's really about it. Down the middle, a huge amount of T1 tanks and other units are just pushing that front line for Meat Missile, going against the comm of TV No Baby Starlink. I think I'll call him TV No Baby 1 and TV No Baby 2. It'd be a little easier for my brain. But he is rooted to his spot, and he can't come and deal with these Auroras. So these Aurora are going to get free damage. They've taken out a couple of Mexes so far. And still units in from the east here for Tesla Mechs just constantly coming through that front line. And it doesn't really look like Team 2 really has an answer for this right now. The comm of Evil Jews even retreating as we speak in the face of all of these Mantis, which honestly, there aren't a whole lot. He could deal with this pretty much by himself. But acting more in a conservative, very cautious manner versus Team 1's player of Tesla Max being super aggressive, even now building up some Medusa to help assist in taking out structures. T2 going under the way for Meat Missile wants to secure this middle lane here, and of course we have the western lane, the middle lane, and the eastern lane. We could say central, but I like middle. It's a lot easier to remember and say. Shield going on the way here for TV No Baby. He has the Aeon Sniper comm and is going shield. So this comm here will be a force to be reckoned with in the middle of the map. We have Meat Missile only having potentially T2. That is going to put him at a severe disadvantage in the offensive game here. If he gets some Oblivion turrets, it might assist him for a little bit, but not a whole lot. But units noticing that BRS is on the western side decide to go to the east. And this position here for BRS will fall. There's literally nothing here except one T1 PD. And that's not going to last very long against all of these Mantis and other units. That gun does open up. There's a radar installation here as well. It's not really defended. One Medusa could have easily taken it out, but does decide that these units will go around this little kind of alleyway, whatever you want to call this thing. They're getting into the main production facilities here for BRS. One mass extractor goes down, and a large group of units here on the east for Team 1's player of Tesla Max. He's might push that pretty soon, especially if he notices that Evil Drew is rooted to the spot. And the comm of TV No Baby will start to meander his way forward. But these units here from, I was going to say Snog, but that's Team 1. From Agony are starting to split up. Looks like they're going to try to cut off some reinforcements here for the player of Meat Missile. I think that's his main target. He's actually avoiding all of the units coming off the production facilities here for BRS in support of his base. They're going to go after a T2 Mechs. They'll get this Mechs. I don't know if they'll get another one. Reinforcements here from Meat Missile. I'll pull it off of the supply line, and we'll be able to deal with this push quite easily with the assistance here from BRS. But BRS kind of pulls back a little bit. Missed opportunity there. Could have dealt with this force. And now there's another T2 Mechs under threat here for Team 1. To the east, that huge army that we saw to the east is going to deal with this forward production facility here for Evil Drew. And it's just not really looking good here for Team 2's eastern side. They're falling back severely. He does have T2 tanks in the forms of pillars, but I wouldn't be surprised to see those be a lot more aggressive. A decent amount of Natha fighter bombers over the top to deal with this incoming threat. Actually, these are from Team 2, not from Team 1. Apologies. He's from Tag, Defcon, and now they're going after, I guess, the interceptors. And now another T2 mass extractor goes down. That's the, what, 1, 2, 3, third one at least, maybe even fourth. That's a lot of mass gone fairly early on, sub 10 minutes. And maybe they'll get the T2 P-Gen. That'd be a huge grab if Agony could get this. It will finish, or at least they'll delay it. And they're going to get a lot of the engineers killed here. That will diminish the amount of build power that they have. And they get into the backline. They're targeting the P-Gen. Is it going to be enough? The engineers are given the order to reclaim some of those units. Is it enough? They're actually given the order to reclaim as well, so the volatile explosion doesn't occur. Oh, and they get it. They don't get it, just barely. Ooh. That would have been very nasty had Team 2's player of Agony gotten that. But that huge advantage has given him the ability to push a little bit more forward. And at least some confidence here for TV No Baby to push forward against Meat Missile. Of course, that is the Aeon Sniper Comp with the standard shield, not the upgraded shield. But the PD for Meat Missile is not close enough, and even when it does, it just gets annihilated by the overcharge. Units are going to be thrust upon him just to deal with this incoming threat. And there are more units here for Meat Missile, but unfortunately with that Aeon Sniper Comp, it might not matter. Constantly rebuilding these T1 PD does cost him a lot of mass to hold. You can see just constantly firing against those tinfoil auroras. It does not bode well for them. And he can still outrange them. There is an Oblivion turret here to help assist in dealing some damage to the comm of TV No Baby. But it's not really going to be enough. Not the fighter bomber over the top. Don't know what it was going after. Maybe it wasn't going after the comm. I don't know what it was going after. To the east, there are a couple of T1 bombers here. These Zeus trying to deal some damage, but I don't know really what they're targeting. This would be a good grab to take out the radar. Maybe this engineer right here. They're going after T1 Mechs is not really that worth it. Could be going after other things, but again, eco damage is eco damage. It's not the end of the world here. Trying to keep attention here. Going to the north, we have a couple of not the fighter bombers attacking the Mechs here for Meat Missile, assisting his compatriot here against this position against Meat Missile, trying to force that comm back with reduced eco. But TV No Baby has half of his shield regen, so eventually that will be back online for him. Constantly getting ranks of veterancy, is at his third rank of veterancy, so 14,000 hit points so far left remaining on that comm. Lots of hit points, nice overcharge in the group of war. There's no T2 units yet, which is fairly surprising because Meat Missile should have those by now. Same here with TV No Baby. Maybe he's focusing on other things. I'll be microing his comm a lot more than his eco, but he's trying to be super aggressive here in the middle, and I could not blame him for that. Here to the west, it does look like there's a large group of units about ready to attack the position here, or Agony gets some revenge against that earlier move from him. And a decent push of all of these pillars to the east here for Evil Drew might help assist in at least knocking the comm back a little bit. There's a lot of missiles constantly raining down on them though, but the pillars just going to ignore all those units. There are a couple of rhinos in there, but the pillars do have the numbers here. And the missiles constantly firing to help assist. And it does look like there's not a lot of pillars in view to deal with all these rhino. And it's not a good engagement for these pillars, unfortunately for them. A lot of them will fall more than they probably should have, to be honest. But they are pushing back that army here for Tesla Max, forcing him back, forcing him to move around, forcing him to just, not hold this position. He's going T2 in the middle. Maybe he'll go T3 after he builds it. But the rhinos are still prevalent here, and all these pillars are just dying almost here for no reason. They could have almost gone after the comm here, but they decided to go for a, hit and fade opportunity pretty much. But now a group of T1 artillery is on their way here for Tag Defcon. Thinking of Call of Duty zombie maps right here. But they're going to drop all the way back here. Are they going to go into the main mass storage production facility here with a bunch of pigeons as well? They will drop this. Move might work as long as Buttons does not pay attention. And now the artillery rains down onto that Mass Extractor wiping out everything. Then these two will fall as well. They start producing some T1 factories to assist in the efforts of staving off this incoming attack. But the Comm, with his units here to the west for BRS, is pushing along this little avenue here. They're very difficult to group up units here. Not really the best move there, because they are easy pickings when they are all by themselves. But to that push to the north, maybe they'll get another T2 Mechs. They're going to take out some artillery. Is it enough? It is enough. They took out 3 T2 fully ringed Mechs. That is 9 mass a pop, for a total of 36 mass a second. That's a huge grab here, especially for the cost of some T1. Let's see, he is Seraphim, so Zui, and a transport if the transport did not make it home. Base wars starting to appear here in the middle, while the teams here for the east and the west are still fighting over just, land. The middle lane has pretty much just decided, it's okay, we'll just throw missiles and artillery and whatnot at each other and not really worry about it. We are at the 15, almost 16 minute mark. No one has died as of yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see someone die sub 20 minutes. It is a 10 player game. Some of our players are being very aggressive, some of them are not. So will that aggression make a difference or not? As of right now, I don't think so. To the east, Tesla Max did lose this base here. He will be easily reclaim it, but he has lost that footing. Another transport going to do the same thing. Team 1's player of Buttons has got to be aware of it by now. Does he notice it in time? He doesn't see it yet. There are a couple of engineers. They'll see it as it flies over. Yep, they spot it. Is it fast? Is he fast enough? Yes, he is. But is he going to be able to catch up with it? He actually doesn't go after it. That is going to hurt. The transport air scouts over the head telling him there's nothing to fear. He will drop short. I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Could have gone in the main base here and done serious amounts of damage. Able to take out another T2 fully ringed mechs, and that's another 9 mass a second gone here for Buttons, dropping him down to 129.26 mass a second. Team 2 is winning the eco game by over 100 mass a second. But we see an interesting play here from Tesla Max using the little lake here to the east. Well, I guess it's a pond. It depends how big it is. I don't know. It is a Salem destroyer. He can use this to walk onto land. Very dangerous unit here. Mobile artillery, essentially. Fairly weak on the ground, of course, because it can't move that quick. But fairly aggressive and good use of the map. Not a lot of water, but it's a little bit, just enough to make a difference, I feel like, in this game. But the Arty has started to make its way westward once again, going after those T1 factories. I don't think, where are those shots going? I don't know where those shots were going. They were really wide shots, but a bunch of flares were spammed up to deal with the Arty once again, and now Team 1's player Buttons will definitely know for sure not to allow that to happen again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing. Units to the west here for Agony are pushing against these T1 idle units. This is definitely only going to go one way. There's a couple of Arty units here, and a lot of hit points were chewed off fairly quickly. But as long as those rhinos keep moving, it will not matter. More units coming in to assist. A huge push. The comm of Meat Missile has had to fall back. The base wars are won here by TV No Baby, and now the pings go down, I think, to go after the comm of Meat Missile. Are we going to see the ejection sub 20 minutes? Maybe. Evil Jew does come in to assist, deal with a couple of these turret emplacements, these PD emplacements, but I don't think it will really matter. There's a lot of units here for Meat Missile as well. I think they want to draw Meat Missile out into the open, or at least further south. A couple of artillery units open fire. Meat Missile will have to keep moving. Gotta keep moving. You cannot stop. I keep hearing rhino fire to the west, and yes, these rhinos have broken through at least a little bit. They're not pushing as much as they could. You're going to be able to take out a decent amount of triads and a couple of buzzkills as well. There are more units and structures down here to the south here for BRS to hold those mass points. Well, those units here for Drew were taken out, or at least have fallen back, what remains of that force. And now the Calm and units here for TV No Baby have pushed forward. They're now going to claim this base for themselves. That destroyer, actually, that was a cruiser, not a destroyer. That cruiser was taken out, as well as that destroyer. Actually, no, it's right here. It's walked onto land. Sub 20 minutes, and we already have land-based naval units. Pistol Max is going to hide in the water. Very sensible move there. But a decent amount of pillars. They need to keep moving. They need to keep pressing the advantage here. They are engaging at a good angle. A lot of the units here for Tesla Max are not positioned correctly to fully engage. Their main target is probably this artillery, this naval unit. That'd be a good grab here for Evil Drew. But there are some threats here. The Calm of Tesla is nearby. He has the gun and the nano repair. Very tanky to kill. No one has died at 20 minutes, so the usual trend does not occur. I hear a strap bomber somewhere, though. Where is that from? It looks like it is from... I don't know, but the ASFs here for tag are actually in and flying over the main base for Team 1. Early aggressive placements, as well as the ASFs here for TV No Baby number 2. Though ASF power does reside in Team 2's favor, air control will be very useful for them, especially because they want to at least puncture. I would probably try to take out Tesla Max on this eastern side. That naval facility is starting to be annoying, especially if he keeps pumping out some cruisers that will pretty much nullify the air advantage. But a large contingent of T1 forces for TV No Baby number 1 will start dealing with this upper plateau area. You can just see the artillery rain in. There is counter artillery from this fervor, but it's not enough. This one will fall. They'll take out some AA, and these are T3. These are Transcenders. These are SAM sites. That's a lot of, doesn't say mass, but it's not a whole lot of mass. It's a lot of effort that has gone down to secure this eastern position in the middle. And now we have missiles raining in. No, it's artillery, not miasma. I guess I should have known that. I saw the miasma kind of AoE lingering effect. And I was told that the Mercies were changed, where they're not like high single fire targets. They're more like AoE land army missiles, which is like, I kind of miss the Mercy Snipe though. But I understand it was a little OP, so I understand the devs like taking that away and kind of modifying it a little bit. I do understand where it's coming from. It's just now I can't just say it's a Mercy Snipe anymore, because unless you have 50 of them, it really doesn't matter. And do a lot of damage in one area. But I do like the mixing in the miasma effect, though. I thought that was a pretty cool addition to that, though. But to the west, we have Snog building some T2 Utashalas. And now they're puncturing the shield here for Team 2's player of TV No Baby number 1. We keep saying TV No Baby number 1 number 2 because I will get confused at some point. But there are... Where are these missiles going? They have a really weird trajectory here. They have like... Oh. But the Utashalas making quick work. The shields go down fairly quickly for Team 2. And that's going to hurt here. No shielding around these emplacements means... It's being easier to take out, especially with artillery fire constantly raining down here in the middle. Team 2's player of Agony has actually pushed back BRS to his main base. Actually, his main production base. He does have his main core mass back there. Oh. But it does look like there is a counter push with a couple of Titans. And this will make the way here. Snog is actually deep into the red, which is fairly surprising. Maybe a lot of those missiles and already did make a difference here. The Titans do fall. The Utashalas, I think, are just enough to hold off this position, especially with the assistance of Meat Missiles forces. Strap bombers come over the top. They take out the shield. One more strap bomber will probably do it. No, it won't. Sub 300 hit points. Now one more will do it. Snog is given the order to retreat. The pings do go down to take out the strap bombers. They split up. Two of them go to the east. A third one will circle around. But is it fast enough? The bomb gets released. It gets avoided. Snog at 700 hit points now. Artillery raining down on his position. The miasma fire doesn't do a whole lot, though. That was fairly close. At almost 24 minutes, the first kill of the game would have been Snog in 1800. That would have been a huge grab for Team 2. But Team 1's player of Snog does escape barely. And I mean, 300 hit points on a 1,300 hit point comp. Oh, but he dies! What does he die to? Did he die to artillery? I guess he got shot by artillery. Thanks, Snog. I mean, just as I was saying, he was getting away. I guess an artillery. Oh, let's see. Is that in range? Yeah, he was still in range, so it must have been a lucky shot. That miasma. Ooh, man, that was. Let's see. Was that? No, I don't think that was the one that got it. Maybe the one that got it was killed off. I don't see it. Wow, that was interesting. I thought he got away with it, but my bad. Apologies for that. See, if I make a comment like, normal casters do, it's like, oh, yep, that's not going to happen, or that's already built, or whatever the case may be. It's the caster curse, of course, but three Salems are pushing this eastern side here. Tesla Max doing a huge amount of work here on this eastern side, pushing back the highest rated player of Evil Drew to the east. But unfortunately for them, the similar thing is happening with Agony to the west, except it's not as bad, in my opinion. Not as much pressure, I should say. And now Team 1's player of BRS is getting into the naval game, going T2. Probably will build a bunch of cruisers. And now the comm of Meat Missile is under attack. A bunch of missiles and already constantly raining in. Personal shield says buttons. And that's probably a good idea for BRS just to beef up his comm a little bit. But counter push here with a Rambo preset commander and Percivals and Percy's and Pillars. The Pillars not moving in as close as they should. They want to get the Salems before they go into the water. Percy's open up fire. They take out one of those Salems. The second one will fall. The cruiser will have to fall back, and a secondary cruiser will help assist in that effort. There are a couple of bricks here to the east. T3 assault bots are starting to be the staple here for our players here in the east. Scouting left side. Pay attention. But the comm of Meat Missile goes down. He was pressured severely by that firebase to the south that was built up severely. It was going to fall. And then looks like TV No Baby just pumped a bunch of resources and mass and energy into it. And now 2 comms are dead here for Team 1, dropping this game to a 5v3 in favor of Team 2 at 26 minutes. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win at the current time. In terms of mass, Team 1 is winning by 300 mass a second in terms of generated per second. But in terms of total, they're actually winning by about, well, let's say, let's just round it up to 20K and just leave it at that. A Monkey Lord's worth. Let's try to quantify things. A Monkey Lord's worth. But it does look like the rest of this position here for buttons will fall. And it looks like it's more of like a Firebase PD creep kind of thing. Shield creep. There is a Rambo preset commander in the mix as well as a Percy. This western approach. But there is a Fat Boy in. Like the Fat Boy's like, no. No Firebase creep for you. No. There is a decent amount of miasma. So this Fat Boy, who's actually pretty weak now, sub half hit points, and because of the miasma fire pierces shields, you can see that it just eradicates that Fat Boy. And now Broadsword's coming in to assist, try to deal with the Fat Boy. They got there too late. Now targeting the Titans, sitting for just orders. And Team 2's air does look like it's starting to thin out. It does look like Team 1 will 4 players engaging here in the middle. It's kind of hard to track who has the advantage necessarily. It does look like it's almost a tie, but I guess Team 1 comes out a little bit more ahead. The ASF here for TV No Baby number 2 does diminish quite severely. There are a decent amount of flak emplacements here. I would like to see some T3 as well. But we have a destroyer here for BRS. Maybe he'll try to use those direct fire weapons to great degree. He can still target the Rambo preset commander. And there's a lot of hit points, 16,000 plus an additional 26, so 42,000 hit points in total. But a push here to the west here from Agony and a Monkey Lord who's almost dead. They're getting into the main production facilities here for Team 1's player BRS. A Fat Boy nearby. Fat Boy will help severely in protecting this base. The Fat Boy will retreat. The mass will be dropped on not Team 1's doorstep, but pretty close. Yep, drops right there. This game just popping off everywhere. We have, you know, Navy in a Navy map that isn't really a Navy map, but it's still Navy. More than there was that other map, so I'll take what I can get here. Of course, those of you who know, I actually do enjoy Navy. I like watching it. I like kind of seeing the fades, those tactics of, you know, it's a large army that you have to manage, and it's a slow fight, so you got to have the patience to endure it. It's very good. Like, land is kind of over fairly quickly. Navy is like at least a couple of minutes you have to just pummel, especially when you have like 30 battleships to take out. It takes a while. But this fat boy here to the west will do a lot of work here for BRS. We have loyalists and some bouncers retreating, and there's a couple of these destroyers here. Direct fire weapons will be able to hit these units to great effect, especially with that fat boy coming in to assist, and Percy's here to escort it as well. But it does look like Evil Jew saying, this eastern side, nah, forget about it. I'm going to push the middle lane, and because of that, you can just see the effect that he has had with assisting TV No Baby. All of these Percy's assisting these shields staying online, as well as pushing back the enemy. Oh, I can not speak today. We have a couple of demolishers as well, dealing with a lot of the emplacements here at 2 T3. Oh, okay, never mind. 1 T3 mech still online here to the west. And it does look like Team 1 is starting to lose ground quite quickly. We're at 30 minutes. We see an SMD. Is Team 1 thinking about ending the game somehow? Well, another Fat Boys being built. So Fat Boys isn't a bad idea. We saw that one game where there was like 8, 9, 10 Fat Boys at one time, producing a whole Slav? Not slave. Suave? It's not suave. Whatever the word for it is. A whole group of units. And we're pretty much not the main thing that won it for their team, but a huge, huge factor in that game for the team that ended up winning. I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but I mean, me just talking about the Fat Boys kind of gave it away, so apologies to those who I've offended with the no spoiler alert kind of thing. But the miasma fire from this position starting to, again, puncture those shields. Of course, it lands, and then it lands underneath the shield. It's really kind of hard to see, but you can see the damage that it affects those nearby units. And a lot of miasma fire can shoot through a lot of positions. A chicken, that could be a dangerous thing for this position, in conjunction with the 3 Fat Boys now here to the west. But there's now 1 crab, and I feel like 1 crab versus 3 Fat Boys isn't great, but if the Fat Boys walk in, that's a different story. The chicken here through the middle of the map here, 4 buttons. The miasmas will start to open fire, or they should pretty soon. Missiles are launched. Will they go after the chicken? No, they're not. They're actually going further back, maybe going for mexes, whatever the case may be. Lots of miasma fire constantly opening up. This forward position of this main base will die off. The Monkey Lord to the east was dealt with here for Tesla Max. That's got to hurt. But a main production facility here for TV No Baby will fall to a bunch of bricks. Maybe the Team 1 PD will be enough. There's also some broadswords here from Team 2's air player of TV No Baby number 2. TV Baby number 1 and 2 assisting each other quite well in this game. At least 1 air and 1 round. And another ASF fight ensues over the top of this forward operating base here for Team 2. The chicken will fall. The monkey is here. That's a lot of mass, especially with some grass comms nearby to help scoop it up. Now the broadswords are called in to assist dealing with the bouncers. There's a lot of AA fire, but the broadswords are known for a lot of their, you know, heavy fire, single fire damage. Heavy fire, single fire damage. Wow, I should like write a book or something. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll write a book one day. Who knows? But a lot of AA here on this western side of this lake. Team 2's got to deal with it, or a lot of their ASS will be dealt with quite quickly. Strap bomber over the top. I feel like that's kind of late. But a nuke launch here for Team 2 out here from the comm of Evil Jew. And it's going west, northwestward. Where is it going? Well, it's going for the... Well, it's pretty much going for the core mass and some of the air grid for buttons. That SMD was loaded in time, and so this missile will be taken out fairly quickly. Definitely a disappointment here for the comm of Evil Jew, but at least he'll know there is an SMD. It is pointed out fairly quickly. There is 2 of them. Both, the western one is loaded, the east one is not. But now that this forward operating base has fallen, a Colossus and 2 Fat Boys with a bunch of assisting shields and T1 flares are going to push the center line here. And now to the east, Evil Drew's like, well, I've dealt enough attention to the middle. Now I'll go east. And now is dealing a heavy blow to Tesla Max, forcing him back once again. All of these units in the water just trying to do what they can to halt this push. Rambo Preset Commanders making their way. I mean, and they're super tanky, and it takes a while to deal with them. RD says TB no baby 2. Where is the RD? Or at least were there any at my funeral? Says Meat Missile. Well, I mean, maybe. I was at least a partial witness or almost a full witness to that death, so you could probably count me, but you know, this is obviously in the past, so I technically don't count. But one Percy against a bunch of flares isn't going to go well, and fervors as well, and a Colossus, you can just scoop them up anyway. So this push here to the middle will not amount. This base here for TV No Baby number 1 will fall. Not really looking good here for Team 2 in the middle lane. The eastern lane, they're doing pretty well. The western lane, the calm of Agony has held out fairly well. But now a lot of the resources here for Team 1 are falling into BRS's hands. But actually Buttons is ahead in Eco Generation at 700. Both teams are tied up. Another air fight over the top of the middle. It does look like Team 2 will come on top of that. Buttons does have a decent-sized Air Force left remaining, but the BRS Air Force was diminished. These Percivals are still trying to focus down the Colossus. They will. All of that high single-fire damage does amount to a whole lot after a while, of course. And the collapse of that Colossus. It's fairly slow. Someone made a comment that's very dramatic of the Colossus to just like fall that slowly. I'm like, yeah, it is. And it's the tallest unit in the game, so why not? It does take a while for, you know, a tall unit like that to fall. It's not like, you know, somebody who's 2 inches of and you failed because you went to standing up school and then you fell down immediately. But these 2 Fat Boys, because of the assistance of that Colossus, can now push forward quite severely against TV No Baby. But artillery starting to make its way even more and more on this front line. There's even a T2 emplacement of Utashalas here for Tag Defcon. And now Team 2 going to hold their stand here in this kind of like, I don't know, it's a long, long area to cover. But there's a lot of incoming fire. Biasma's opening up, dealing with all of those shields. The shield for the Fat Boy has fallen. Its hit points are trying to slowly recover. Fat Boy is engaging close range weapons against the Percys. Here for Team 2, Percy's now engaging. Now it's a UEF on UEF fight with some Aeon sprinkled in there. It's not really going well for the Percys for Team 1, but the Percys for Team 2 are starting to be thinned out. Strap bombers over the top. One bomb drops, it looked like. At least it tried to be dropped and then was taken out. The Fat Boy here, where BRS does fall. His other one might live to see the day, but the Percy's targeting... Oh, okay. No, not with all those T1 bombers. It's not. The Oblivions will halt any forward progression. The Fat Boy will fall. The Cougars try to do their best, but it just doesn't matter. ASF's again over the top of the middle, trying to engage in an air fight. More of them for BRS. The ASF for Buttons are holding back. They don't want to fully engage. They sense that Tag Defcon has more air forces than they do, and they will decide to retreat. A nice engagement there. Gets in behind, gets a decent amount of those ASFs, will then summarily retreat due to the Cougars. And the Fat Boy that was coming in to relieve his other 2 brethren will start to be focused down. Not a lot of... Well, I guess there's more coming in all the time, but there's not a whole lot of T1 bombers and a lot of Cougars nearby, so it won't really matter. They're actually going after... What are they going after? They're just going somewhere, and I don't know what that's about. But it looks like it was mainly a distraction. The broadswords brought in. The shield will fall quite quickly. Cougars... Then they can take out broadswords and restores and that kind of like, but they're mainly designed for single targets, not for a large group of them. And that Fat Boy is summarily destroyed. ASFs over the top here for Tag Defcon will help clean up the remaining ASFs here, at least from BRS. Button's still holding on to his ASFs, and it's just Team 2 holds the air for now. Not completely, but a decent amount of it. To the west, we have that Crab still under threat by 2 Fat Boys. Fat Boys pushing it back slowly but surely. but I don't know if it's really going to matter. The bricks are now called fourth and decide, maybe, they're like, will they, won't they? There's a decent amount of bricks over to the west, though. Why aren't you spamming flak from my 3 factories? Flak and shield says meat missile. I mean, you could. That's probably a good idea. At least the shields part. The flak, yeah, you could take out the gunships. The broadswords do take a little bit to chew through. But now we have a base here to the east. There's a Salem just trying to puncture the shields. A bunch of bricks on approach. There's a lot of PD here. There's even those demolishers still here. They're targeting... Looks like they're targeting the Salems. One of them was already taken out. Those hit points will take a little bit because of the inaccuracy of those artillery. But the bricks do charge forth. The broadswords come in to assist. Go, nope, that's not a good idea. And then the ASFs here for both Baby and for Tag move in. They're pretty much using the gunships as the lure for the ASFs for Team 1 to come in and be summarily destroyed. Another Fat Boy dies. What is that, like the 6th Fat Boy that's been killed or something? Cruisers here still the nonsense here for Team 2. But those look like the Salem, not microed heavily as much as it should be, is summarily taken out. And I don't blame Tesla Max. He's under threat for his main base. It's 38 minutes. There's a lot been going on. He does secure a lot of AA pressure here. We're good on him. But Team 2's player of Agony has built a T3 battleship, and he doesn't care that it's in a pond like this. He'll use it to great effect, especially because a lot of factories for BRS are in range. His main facility will be protected partly just due to this little mountain environment hill thing. Again, mountains in this game are very weird because they range a lot. And like this is not a mountain. This is more like a hill. Obviously, there's a plateau on the other side, but it's just, they're not as tall. Like, this is kind of, no, it's not really a mountain. It's more of a plateau. I don't know. There's got to be, like, a height requirement somewhere in geology or something where it's like, if it's this high, it's a mountain. If it's this high, it's a hill. And then, obviously, a single, I don't know if it's a mount. I don't know how that works. I hear an Awash bomber. Where is it? I heard it. There's the megalith. Where is it? Artillery raining down here for Team 1. Where's that coming from? Coming from Button's main base. Built one of them, almost halfway done with a second one. I heard the Awasha bomber. Where is it? I heard the bomb go off because I heard it come out of the chute. I just can't figure out where it went. The only players that could have necessarily built it are Tag, and I guess Team 1 has access to it. I just don't know who would have built it. But to the east, we have a Colossus. That's a lot of bricks, and that's a lot of Rambo preset commanders to chew through. Actually, the bricks are here for Team 1, but that Colossus is dealt a serious blow by all of these Ravagers. The target of opportunity could be these Demolishers here for the bricks, but they're targeting the Ravagers instead. They take one of them out. Maybe that was a Demolisher. But there's still more and more Salems just constantly just being annoying here for Evil Drew on the eastern side. A lot of the mexes for Agony have been gifted over to Tag. What is he building? Well, he's building a Hovatham. Counter artillery here for Team 2. Looks like Drew still has a new missile loaded. Has an SMD up here for the front for Team 2. Another SMD back here. And there should be at least one over here. Oh, there is. Okay, it's right there. But I don't see what's going on. There's a Bubble Shield commander and more Rambo preset commanders. Now they're fighting bricks. The bricks are not going to win that fight. We're talking about, hit points just alone. The Rambo preset commanders work, but Evil Drew not focusing on RAS comms like he could be. He's only at 230 mass a second. But because he's focusing on Rambo preset commanders, he can pump a lot of damage very quickly. And to be fair, he has succeeded. He has a firebase here to the east now. This SMD should be taken out. Pings go down, taking out, I think the mass extractors is what they're being pinged. But they're just going to move forward. It's forced Tesla Max to fall back. Another nuke launches. What is it going for? It's going for the main base back here, but the SMD back here is still online. That is a severely missed opportunity, and that nuke will fall. They did know about it. Artillery constantly raining in to deal with it. They're trying to time it right, but it won't work. The SMD will get the missile off. That has got to hurt. And now a lot of attention for Team 1 is just focusing on these Rambo preset commanders. They're going to focus down the Colossus, it looks like. A bunch of Rambos versus one big, tall boy. Oh, that is the wrong button. I keep pushing that button. I don't know why. But I can't see anything. It's a bunch of clouds. But who's going to win? A couple of Rambo preset commanders or a Crab and a Colossus? Well, combined, it's not really looking good for that one Rambo preset, especially with a lot of his brethren just dying to the energy beams. But to be fair, these Rambos have gotten fairly deep, and now they're going for the volatile structures of Team 1's player buttons. They're going to take out a P-Gen. Explosions occur. They'll get probably another one. You got to fire. Is it going to be enough? It will be enough. They take out this section of an air grid. Not a whole lot. Lots of T1 bombers overhead. The Hovertham does finish. Now that's 2 artillery versus 1. In terms of artillery, it's not really looking super good, but now we have 4 Galaxies facing off against a bunch of Zui. Get some T1 frigates, and that is pretty much what's happening right now. Good call for Agony. He's actually getting up some SAM sites as well. The battleship's good at large targets. Small, fast-moving ones, not so much. But look at what's happened to the eastern side. A big hole. Tesla Max is pretty much knocked out of the game, only at 132 mass a second, which isn't something to knock on considering Agony and Evil Drew have only 200 and change, and TV No Baby number 1. But a lot of the Corsairs, a lot of the cruisers were dealt with for Team 2, so they don't have to worry about a whole lot of that anti-air pressure. But the artillery is focusing on the counter-artillery, and there's even a third one. Oh, there's the Outwasher right here. Looks like this one is coming from the player of BRS. He's built the Duke and a Novax. With Team 1 going standoff tactics, that is their main goal now. A lot of those Zuri were dealt with. The Galaxies were pulled back. The Fat Point trying to assist in the artillery bombardment of the lake. I don't know how well that's going. The Colossus is just going to run right head into that firebase once again. I mean, it has 2 stars. It does have more hit points, but it needs the Crab's assistance. It needs the range with it. There's a couple more Rambo presets back here building some missiles. One of them falls. The engine is being sucked away by the vacuum arms of those Colossus. But yeah, a lot of the mexes for Tag Defcon were given over to from Agony were given over. So actually, Agony should have like at least 400, maybe even close to 600. At least 500 minimum. Tag Defcon making a comment about his teammates' mental capacity. He's like, "Why are you building 4 of them?" 0 effect on game. It's not a 0 effect. It pretty much locks down the middle. But, I mean, this stage, not the best move. Because it could be kind of countered by just... And you make 4. I'd say like 2 would be a lot better than the 4. I drop... And you hold the ground at least as Evil Drew. I mean, if you can hold the ground with just the battleships, I say that is something... That's a lot of ASFs just hanging out there. But TV No Baby number 1 has built an experimental. It is a Colossus. You're going to charge that forward. He's starting to rebuild his facility up here in the middle. Both of these plateaus are not even occupied anymore. But 2 Colossus are making their way to the eastern side of Team 1's main land mass area. The Crab trying to do what he can against this firebase. The shields are down. The Colossus did fall, but at what cost? That's another experimental that is just thrown to the wayside. T1 bombers en masse, pumping out whatever they can. Will they go after the T2 naval headquarters? At least take that out. A lot of hit points gone from those T1 bombers. They will sort of target it. I think they're going to hide in the water is the goal. That facility will be wiped off the face of the water. But a huge air engagement. Team 1 is going to win that like most handedly. At least in my opinion, just based on kind of what a lot of the icons are. But yeah, a lot of orange and yellow. So Team 1 I think pretty much for the first time in the game we'll have air control, and by a large margin. They have to build up maybe some Nathas, some Jainas, some Strat Bombers, something to fight against Team 2. There's one cruiser left standing, and those broadswords are going on a suicide mission. They want the cruiser dead. Those T1 bombers actually ground firing onto the Colossus. They killed one of them, and the Colossus just running in circles at this point. There's ASF sitting here, and they're not even doing anything about it. The cruiser will fall, unfortunately, here for Tesla Max. Tactical missile being started here for TV No Baby number 2. Maybe he'll go Billy Nuke. But his air grid's starting to fall quite quickly. It does look like he's reclaiming the Duke. You only really do that if you're building something else. Oh, he stopped. I don't know what he's doing with that. But the Hovatham was knocked out for Tag Defcon and is not looking good for Team 2. Team 2 has held the game for a while in terms of air and land pressure, but it seems like that's starting to peter out. This facility to the east is just going to be hammered by a bunch of T1 bombers. Again, the answer to if you need more shielding is always yes. And do you have enough? The answer is always no. But a lot of them will be taken out by a lot of flak. So, I mean, it was pretty much just designed to hold the position. But GG goes out for Agony. Agony tries to teleport against BRS. BRS has a bunch of Utashalas in wait. And now it will be the first kill of the game for Team 1, dropping this game to a 4v3. And I saw it in the corner. Tactical Nuke built here. Allwasher over the top. There's now 3 of them. It's going to overshoot its mark. And it doesn't go off the map, so Buttons will be able to claim that. The TV No Baby has built the Tactical Nuke and might even just snipe the comm of Buttons here. That'll be a amazing move. Do they even know the comm is there? They know a unit is there. They don't know what it is if they're paying attention. ACU under shields, please. Says Meat Missile. They notice something is up. The ASF fly over the top. They'll see the comm. Buttons pretty much has one shot. The shields around Buttons is enough. He knows the move. He's going to hide under shield coverage. The Tactical Nuke from TV No Baby will launch. And he's just flying around trying to see if the ASFs will hit it. It does not. It's going to impact the shields. Not really do a whole lot, but he needs TMD up quite quickly. Biplane's over the top to see what's going on. You see, it pretty much does nothing. Just impacts the shields for no damage. No, it looks like TV No Baby has not building a second nuke, so not really worth it. But we have Colossus, these ones from the south, pushing against Buttons here. That's why Buttons, another reason why he retreated. They're not going after TV No Baby 2, which is kind of interesting. These will move to the west. We saw that YOLO being built in the back. Will it be enough? That's going to be hard to tell. If they build it and they keep it online, it will probably win the game as long as they can hold the ground. But the eastern side of Team 1's base is just annihilated. Kill SMDs while he messed up that micro. Kill SMDs. I don't know why Tesla isn't going after TV No Baby 2. Launching a second tactical nuke. Going for the backline, trying to kill the comm of Buttons. BRS says kill. Is kill the SMD, trying to prevent any of the SMD from shooting out the YOLO once it launches its first nuke. Nuke launches once again, impacts the shields, does absolutely nothing. The tactical nuke really is useful against units that are not under shield coverage, to be fair. But now the artillery focusing down the SMD and the Novaks as well. TV No Baby number 1, still under shield coverage. The Duke has finished. And it doesn't get taken out. The artillery is focusing it, though, and a couple of structures underneath the shields get taken out. Lots of shield coverage are down. Where's the Novaks? That should be taking out the shield coverage here. Constantly building more shields. I love to see it. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Here, that's another nuke explosion somewhere. Or RAS comms, one of the two. But the comm of TV No Baby just sitting next to some Percys that were helping him, and 3 RAS comms and Tesla Max remain. the northeast corner of the map. Missiles are actually that's artillery. No, those are missiles. They are launched onto TV No Baby. Is this enough to kill him? It is. And that will be a kill here for Team 1. Once again, a Billy Nuke launches. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Buttons counter tactical missiles him. And that will drop this game to a 3v3. The Colossus will purge whatever yellow or orange facility remains. And they're getting fairly close to the yellow. The yellow is in the green. There's a lot of Utashalas and now Ravagers being spammed up here for him. But this one will fall. The shields around these air facilities will fall as well. The Utashalas are being dealt with quickly. Another nuke launches here from this nuke silo from a long time ago. Do we know where it's going? It's going... it's going for Tesla Max. That is just insult to injury. Tesla Max retreating, fearing it was going for him, which he's correct in that. But these RAS comms stopped to build a air facility. I don't know why. Another RAS comm dice. Okay, that explosion, I think it's a comm. If you could change it somehow, FAF developers, I would greatly appreciate it. The nuke launches. Tesla Max walks back into it. And now that is a kill here for Team 2. It drops this game to a 3v2. We're at 52 minutes. Did you think this game was going to go this way? Let me know down in the comments. A lot of land action this game. A couple of artillery placements. Not severely focused, but Team 1 more so. And that just goes to show you that just because the other team you're facing has a lot of artillery, if you can win the ground game, it really doesn't mean anything. As long as you can get to them before they kill you. But one lonely Colossus versus a bunch of PD. Don't think this is enough PD or missiles or artillery. Or whatever's left here. But Team 1 Lobos being built here for this facility now. Those galaxies are just holding their edge. They're actually taking out this emplacement over here. And there's two columns, one with a bunch of combatant presets, so Rambo preset commanders, support commanders, and bricks, and 3 crabs. That is a lot of incoming threat here. AA support from TV No Baby 1, because his partner died to counter missile. But it does look like the shields are starting to suffer. I mean, it is only one artillery. It's not the hugest thing. But it does look like they're starting to suffer just briefly. The artillery does go down here for TV No Baby 2's old base. TV No Baby 1, not even underneath shield coverage, is just kind of banking on the fact that his team will not mess this up. And 3 crabs, a bunch of Rambo preset commanders taking out one, already taking out a Novax. The artillery here from the galaxies are making their way and dealing a lot of damage to these already here to the west. So yeah, it wasn't like the game-ending move, but it did assist. One of the Rambo comms goes down. A couple of Ravagers are being built here to the west to help stave off this incoming threat. But I don't think the crabs or bricks or I keep saying it, the Rambo comms really care. 2 Colossus just kind of dealing with the east structures and infrastructure here for Buttons. Buttons still has his main base, but there's really nothing to defend. And there's really nothing on this eastern side here for Team 2 as well. Another nuke launches, and it's from the YOLO. So we do see the YOLO built and launch its first nuke in the game. And where is it going? It is going for the main base of the old base of TV No Baby 2. This base will fall. And really, it's not really doing a whole lot, honestly. And it's producing some ASFs, but TV No Baby 1 will move. Will he get out there in time? But it doesn't matter. It should have been used as a nuke. What's it called? A close fire support nuke. But it was not. And unfortunately, the YOLO will only get the 1 nuke launched. BRS will die to this push. YOLO explodes, deals some damage to the comm. The comm turns around and will face his doom. Crabs open up fire. Shock explosion goes around. Nice effect. The comm of BRS goes down, and now all of these forces will move to the east. it was Team 2 for a while, and then Team 1 came back, and they were leading quite heavily, and then Team 2 came back once again. That YOLO did land. Took out a lot, but there really wasn't a whole lot there to begin with. Washer does complete here for Tag Defcon. Maybe he'll just rush that in and kill the combo buttons. Lots of air scouts over the top here for Team 2. They'll know exactly where that comm is. There's no hiding. 4 emissaries were built, though. That's a lot of emissaries, to be fair. Not, I wouldn't say a critical mass, but fairly close to 3 washers are on their way. And this is not looking good for Team 1. They take out the Tsar, but the 3 washers, it will not matter. Even if this push to the west with a bunch of crabs and combat support commanders and all of that, now it's like, will the bombers reach their targets? It looks like they will. They're going straight for the comm. First bomb, second bomb, third bomb launches. Impacts 1 shield, 2 shields. Takes out a lot of the hit points for that comm. It had 25,000 hit points for its shield. It's trying to retreat. Don't retreat to here. I'll essentially delete yourself there. Bombers over the top once again. The first bomb, second bomb kills the comm of buttons, and that is the last remaining comm here for Team 1. Team 2 wins the game. Tag Defcon gets the final kill there. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I did notice, of course, been pointed out a couple times, a lot of the eco for Agony was gifted over to Tag Defcon, probably to assist in building washes, in building artillery. And it's hard to say who the MVP of this game was, because a lot of players didn't do the same thing. Evil Drew got just pummeled on this eastern side. Finally came back. Tag Defcon had the bombers and the ASF for a long time. Same here with TV No Baby. BRS had a huge amount of uphill fight over here to the west with Agony. He was pushed back here. He was getting a lot of traction once a couple of his players died. His teammates died. But I think it just came down to the fact that I think Team 1 was so focused on building a YOLO or building emissaries. They weren't building the ground game. And because of that, that's pretty much why they lost. They didn't have the ground infrastructure to fight off these crabs. Maybe that YOLO nuke would have at least delayed the game here for Team 1. But with 3 washes, if the crabs were taken out, they would have taken it out. Pretty much no doubt in my mind on that. So there is the thing as too much game ending and not enough game stalling. Trying to make a comment there, but it didn't really go well. But thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. My little rant and my little conversation about who the MVP was. I can't give an MVP. I think a lot of Team 2 contributed to the whole of Team 2 winning. So let's say Team 2 in general got it. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was, what little comment you liked that I said, whatever the case may be. Let me know your feelings, your thoughts, your questions down in the comments. And of course, if you haven't submitted a replay, if you want to submit a replay, and if you haven't, go for it. But if you would like to, I have an email up on the channel that you can go to and submit a replay. I will start going through them probably tomorrow or Wednesday. I've pretty much finished most of my backlog of replays. I've already filtered through to make sure that they're good. So then there's one more after this one, and then after that you might start seeing your submitted videos. So let me know how you feel about that, and also let me know if you have any replays. I will take a look at them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you wonderful, amazing, beautiful, handsome, gorgeous people in the next one.